Every apple you eat has a story, a journey filled with danger, precision, and science. Every year, over 5 million tons of apples travel across the world. They brave oceans, mountains, and weeks in transit. Yet they arrive crisp, unbruised, and perfect. How? Picture an orchard at sunrise. The air is crisp. The trees are heavy with fruit, their skin gleaming in the golden light. Workers move quickly, hand-picking each apple with extreme care. One wrong move, a rough tug, a drop to the ground, and the apple is ruined. A single bruise can turn an entire shipment into waste. The race begins the moment an apple is picked. It must be rushed to cold storage before it ripens too fast. It must avoid ethylene gas, an invisible enemy that can over-ripen entire shipments in days. Temperature swings can cause condensation, leading to mold and rot. Every second matters. Some apples will travel just a few hundred miles. Others will cross entire continents, spending weeks inside high-tech, refrigerated containers designed to mimic the perfect autumn day. These containers don't just keep apples cold, they monitor oxygen levels, humidity, and even carbon dioxide to slow down time itself. This is no ordinary journey. It's a battle against nature, a fight to keep fruit fresh against impossible odds. From hand-picked harvests to high-tech shipping, the journey of an apple is a logistical masterpiece. And by the end of this video, you'll never look at an apple the same way again. The moment an apple is plucked from a tree, the clock starts ticking. It looks perfect, firm, smooth, unblemished. But inside, a silent process begins. It's ripening. The sugars are changing, the flesh is softening, and the fruit is moving closer to decay. Every second counts. Farmers know this. That's why harvesting is an art. Apples aren't yanked from trees. They're twisted and lifted with precision to avoid bruising. A single bruise won't just ruin one apple. It can spread, turning entire crates into waste. That's why machines can't replace human hands. Skilled pickers move quickly, filling baskets that weigh over 40 pounds. They work from dawn to dusk, knowing that delays mean lost fruit. Once picked, apples are rushed to sorting facilities. Here, conveyor belts hum, scanners flash, and automated arms separate apples by size, color, and quality. The best ones are destined for export. The rest? Some go to local markets. Others are turned into juice, cider, or dried snacks. But for those bound for global travel, the real challenge begins. Temperature is everything. Apples must be cooled immediately to prevent over-ripening. Within hours, they're placed into massive cold storage rooms set to just above freezing. This isn't just refrigeration, it's science. These rooms are carefully controlled to remove excess oxygen and replace it with nitrogen. Why? Less oxygen means slower respiration. It's like putting the apples to sleep, freezing time without freezing the fruit. From here, they're packed into crates, stacked with precision to prevent crushing, and loaded onto trucks. But not just any trucks. Refrigerated trailers, known as reefers, keep the apples at a steady 0 to 4 degrees Celsius no matter the outside weather. Inside, airflow is carefully controlled, ensuring every apple gets the same cool treatment. One broken fan, one unexpected delay, and an entire shipment could be lost. Some apples will stay on these trucks for just a few hours, heading to nearby cities. Others will be driven thousands of miles to massive ports, where they'll be transferred to giant shipping containers, each one a moving fortress designed to keep apples fresh as they cross oceans. But even the most advanced refrigeration can't protect apples from everything. The real battle begins once they leave the safety of cold storage and enter the chaotic world of global transport. An apple may seem sturdy in your hand, but in the world of transport, it's shockingly delicate. It bruises easily, ripens unpredictably, and is constantly under threat from unseen forces, temperature swings, excess moisture, and even its own natural gases. Moving apples isn't just about getting them from point A to point B. It's about keeping them alive, fresh, crisp, and perfect despite the immense distances they travel. Apples have a hidden enemy, ethylene gas. It's invisible, odorless, and relentless. Apples naturally emit this ripening hormone, but in a sealed shipping container, it's a ticking time bomb. Left unchecked, it spreads like wildfire, accelerating ripening and turning a crisp apple into mush within days. The difference between a fresh shipment and a wasted one? Mastering the science of ethylene control. Ethylene gas doesn't just affect one apple, it spreads like wildfire. If one batch of apples ripens too quickly, it can trigger a chain reaction, affecting thousands, even millions, of others in the same shipment. This is why transporters use specialized ethylene scrubbers, devices that filter the gas out of storage environments, keeping the fruit in a carefully controlled state of delayed ripeness. Some shipping companies also introduce controlled levels of carbon dioxide, which slows respiration and counters the effects of ethylene. But this is a dangerous balancing act. Too much suppression, and the apple loses its natural sweetness and aroma. Too little, and an entire shipment could be overripe before it even reaches port. Then there's temperature control, the single most critical factor in keeping apples fresh. Unlike many fruits that can be frozen for transport, apples must be stored at a precise 0 to 4 degrees Celsius. Any deviation outside this range spells disaster. If the temperature rises too high, the apples ripen at an accelerated rate, leading to soft flesh, sugar breakdown, and eventual decay. But go too low, and the apples suffer from chilling injuries, internal browning, loss of flavor, and a grainy, unappetizing texture. This makes transport incredibly complex. A long-haul truck carrying apples across a continent must maintain a rock-solid temperature, no matter what's happening outside. In winter, external temperatures might plummet below freezing, while in summer, the truck's metal frame could be absorbing scorching heat from the sun. One failed refrigeration unit, one sudden power loss, and an entire shipment can be compromised within hours. Some trucking companies have built-in backup generators, allowing refrigeration to continue even if the main system fails. Others use IoT-connected sensors, which send real-time data on temperature fluctuations to remote monitoring teams. If something goes wrong, drivers receive instant alerts, and emergency cooling measures can be activated. But even with all this technology, problems still occur. Mechanical failures, traffic delays, or something as simple as a driver unknowingly setting the wrong temperature can turn a cargo of pristine apples into unsellable waste. And when apples are transported by sea, the challenges multiply. Shipping apples across oceans is an entirely different battle, one fought against distance, time, and unpredictable weather conditions. A standard transoceanic shipment can take anywhere from 2 to 6 weeks, depending on the route. Apples from Washington State heading to China must travel over 7,000 miles, while apples from New Zealand heading to Europe cover distances of more than 10,000 miles. During these long voyages, refrigeration alone isn't enough. Apples must be stored in controlled atmosphere, CA, containers, sealed environments where oxygen levels are carefully reduced and carbon dioxide is increased to slow respiration. It's a technique that essentially puts apples into hibernation, preserving their freshness for extended periods. But this delicate balance is fragile. Too little oxygen, and the apples suffocate. Too much CO2, and they develop off flavors. If the mixture isn't managed correctly, an entire shipment, potentially worth millions, could be ruined before it ever reaches its destination. And let's not forget the ocean itself. Cargo ships pass through climate extremes, moving from warm equatorial waters to icy Arctic currents. A sudden change in external temperatures can trigger condensation inside a shipping container, leading to excess moisture, mold, and decay. To combat this, modern shipping containers use humidity control systems, ensuring the air inside remains dry and stable. But these systems aren't foolproof. If a container is opened at the wrong time, during customs checks, port inspections, or transshipment between vessels, humidity levels can shift dramatically, leading to unseen damage that may only become apparent weeks later when the apples finally arrive at their destination. Even when the apples survive their journey across the sea, they face another major hurdle: port logistics and distribution delays. Once a shipment reaches port, it must go through customs, health inspections, and regulatory checks before it can be cleared for sale. Any delays, whether from paperwork issues, labor strikes, or port congestion, mean apples sit longer than they should. Unlike durable goods, apples don't wait patiently. Every extra day in transit eats into their shelf life, making it even more critical that they reach supermarkets as quickly as possible. And here's where things get even more astonishing. The apple you buy at the grocery store may have been harvested months ago. Thanks to advanced storage techniques, apples can be kept fresh for up to a year before they ever reach your hands. Controlled atmosphere storage facilities, massive warehouses equipped with ultra-precise climate control, allow apple growers to store surplus fruit for extended periods, ensuring a steady supply even when it's out of season. These facilities fine-tune oxygen, carbon dioxide, and nitrogen levels to keep apples in near-perfect stasis, almost as if they were frozen in time. When demand rises, apples are taken out of storage, reintroduced to normal air, and shipped off to stores, sometimes tasting just as fresh as they did the day they were picked. It's a level of precision, planning, and scientific ingenuity that most people never think about when they grab an apple off the shelf. The fact that these fragile fruits survive weeks, or even months, of transport, crossing oceans and continents, all while arriving crisp, juicy, and ready to eat, is nothing short of incredible. But the journey isn't just about survival. The industry is constantly evolving, using new technology to push the limits of freshness and efficiency. For centuries, transporting apples was a game of chance. Farmers relied on cool mountain cellars, straw-lined carts, and sailing ships to keep fruit from spoiling. But today, apple logistics is a high-tech battlefield where every step, from orchard to supermarket, is optimized with precision engineering, AI-driven monitoring, and eco-friendly transport solutions. The goal? Longer shelf life, fewer losses, and fresher apples for everyone. One of the most groundbreaking innovations is smart packaging, a game-changer in apple transport. Traditional crates and boxes leave apples vulnerable to bruising, a problem that can ruin entire shipments before they even reach their destination. But modern shock-absorbing packaging uses specially designed inserts and air cushion trays that cradle each apple, preventing pressure damage. Some companies have taken it further by embedding tiny impact sensors inside crates. If a box is dropped, tipped, or stacked too heavily, the sensor alerts transport managers instantly. This means damage can be caught in real time, before it spreads to the rest of the shipment. But packaging is just the beginning. Inside the shipping containers, another silent revolution is unfolding: real-time atmospheric monitoring. In the past, apples were placed into refrigerated containers and left to fate. If something went wrong inside, a temperature spike, excess humidity, or a CO2 imbalance, nobody would know until it was too late. Now, thanks to IoT, Internet of Things, sensors, every shipping container is equipped with a network of digital monitors. These sensors track temperature, humidity, oxygen, and ethylene levels 24/7. If any condition drifts outside the safe zone, alerts are sent directly to logistics teams, who can adjust ventilation, modify gas mixtures, or reroute shipments in real time. It's like having a guardian AI watching over every apple, ensuring it arrives in perfect condition. And then there's the fight against ethylene gas, the invisible enemy of fresh fruit. In traditional storage and transport, ethylene buildup was nearly impossible to control, leading to premature ripening and enormous waste. But now, companies are deploying next-generation ethylene absorbers, small, filter-like devices that actively remove the gas from the air. Some use nanoparticle coatings, which trap ethylene at the molecular level, while others use organic clay filters to absorb and neutralize the gas. These innovations have been shown to extend apple freshness by up to 40%, reducing waste and allowing apples to travel even farther without losing their crunch. Of course, maintaining freshness is only part of the challenge. Sustainability is now at the heart of apple transport. Traditional refrigerated trucks and ships rely on diesel-powered cooling systems, which consume enormous amounts of fuel and contribute to carbon emissions. But a new wave of innovation is changing that. Solar-powered cold storage units are being tested, harnessing renewable energy to keep apples cool during transport. Some companies are even developing fully electric refrigerated trucks, reducing both emissions and costs. And what about shipping across oceans? Some of the world's largest fruit exporters are now investing in hybrid cargo ships, vessels that use wind-assisted propulsion to cut fuel consumption. Others are experimenting with liquid nitrogen cooling systems, which provide ultra-stable temperatures without relying on traditional refrigerants, making long-distance apple transport more environmentally friendly than ever before. But the revolution in apple transport doesn't start in shipping containers. It starts before the apple is even picked. In orchards from Washington to New Zealand, AI-powered systems now predict the perfect harvest moment. These models analyze weather patterns, soil health, and sugar development to determine the exact day to pick each apple, ensuring it stays fresh for weeks or even months. The difference? Harvest too early, and the apple lacks flavor. Too late, and it won't survive the journey. AI is changing that. By syncing harvest timing with logistics data, farmers can align production with global demand, reducing waste and ensuring apples arrive at their freshest. And what if apples could tell us exactly when they're at peak freshness? Some researchers are developing smart labels, tiny, color-changing stickers that indicate ripeness in real time. These labels react to ethylene levels inside packaging, showing supermarkets and consumers when an apple is at its absolute best. This simple but powerful technology could revolutionize how apples are stocked, sold, and eaten, ensuring that every bite is as crisp and flavorful as possible. With every innovation, the world of apple transport becomes more efficient, more sustainable, and more advanced. From AI-driven logistics to eco-friendly shipping solutions, the future of apple transport isn't just about moving fruit. It's about mastering the science of freshness. And next time you take a bite of a perfect, crisp apple, remember, it didn't get there by accident. It got there through the power of science, technology, and one of the most sophisticated food transport systems on the planet. Every apple you eat has traveled an astonishing journey, crossing oceans, braving weeks in transit, and surviving a battle against time, temperature, and nature. Yet it arrives crisp, fresh, and perfect. Behind it lies a world of precision logistics, AI-driven monitoring, and cutting-edge cold storage. From shock-absorbing packaging to wind-powered ships, innovation keeps apples fresh longer, greener, and smarter. So next time you take a bite, remember, it didn't get there by accident. It got there through science, ingenuity, and one of the most sophisticated transport systems on Earth.